Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the second half for The Walking Dead Season 9, which starts in exactly 2 weeks from today. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts first on Daryl surpassing Rick in episode number pretty soon. And possible spoiler warning if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead. So we have just 2 weeks now to the return for The Walking Dead Season 9. Very excited for this one. And this one will be sort of a Dead update. We have some different stuff to go over, some new news for The Walking Dead for today. And for this one, I thought we would start off giving our thoughts on this article from comicbook.com. Link will be in the description as per usual. And it is that Norman Reedus, of course, as Daryl in The Walking Dead, will soon surpass or will soon pass Andrew Lincoln or Rick for the most episode appearances of a character in The Walking Dead. So I didn't think it was this close, but apparently you have some people who've gone through, again, check the link if you want to know, and noticed or noted the amount of episodes that each character is in. And here is the breakdown of it. So number one right now is Rick. So right now Rick is number one in terms of total episode appearances, and out of all the episodes we've seen so far of The Walking Dead, he was in 103 episodes out of 123. So it's crazy to think that The Walking Dead has had 123 episodes now, and of course we'll be getting another 8 to that in this back half of the season. So, soon to be over 130. But yeah, so Rick was in over 103 episodes. 5 out of 103 episodes were cameo appearances with, or no dialogue appearances. So they've counted it basically through. It's a little bit tricky to say for sure because, sometimes certain characters might just kind of be in and around, or maybe they don't have dialogue. Maybe they're just kind of there and they're in the episode, but it's not like they're at the forefront all the time. But overall, counting every episode that he's been in, 103 out of 123. Daryl's second. So this one is really, really crazy. So he first appeared in the 3rd episode of the series, right? And he has been in 99 out of 123 episodes. So, of course, a lot of those he may have been kind of just sort of around or there. It says 6 out of them he was like cameo appearances and or no dialogue appearances. So 6 out of those episodes where Andrew Lincoln had 5 out of those. But Andrew Lincoln, Rick, 103, and Daryl, 99, which means 4 more episodes for Daryl, and he will pass Rick in terms of episode number, the amount of episodes he's been in. So pretty soon, Daryl will be, before this half is over, most likely, because 8 episodes, I'm sure he'll be in more than 4 of them. He will most likely surpass Rick after this season ends of The Walking Dead. By the time season 10 comes up, Daryl will have been in more episodes than Rick. Crazy stuff. Some of the other characters that are near the top here, we had Carol, who is in 86 out of 123, so she's not far behind. So in a few years, who knows, if she stays on for another few more years of The Walking Dead, she could eventually kind of move up further than Rick as well too. And then there was Maggie, Ree, right? Of course, Lauren Cohen's character, or Green, you could say if you want to. 81 out of 117, but we don't know if she'll ever return, so maybe that's all she'll do. Maybe she'll do more. We'll see. Michonne's at 80 out of 110. Carl was at 78. Aw, so sad to read that one. Quite a few, man. And I think we all thought in the end that Carl would have more episodes than Rick, right? Because of his age and everything, and because of how much opportunity there was in the future, we all thought that he would have more episodes than Rick. But it seems that will not be the case. Of course, as we know, he's gone and he's killed off. So it's what it is. And Rick didn't end up having more episodes than his son Carl. That's crazy. 78. Glenn had 66. Interesting number out of 91, right? So it was like hell for him, man, in his final episode for sure. So that's a lot, though, still. Rosita's actually got 59 episodes, and Eugene has 52. Wow. So crazy stuff to think. And for some reason in my mind, I hadn't thought that the number was so close between Daryl and Rick. I thought that Rick was way ahead. But when we find out now that at this point he's literally only 4 episodes ahead, it's like, yeah, man, Daryl's going to be in more episodes than him. And if Daryl is kind of the lead for a few years, I can see if people start looking, in that Surpass question that I did a video on, people start looking at Daryl as kind of the overarching main character of the Walking Dead television series in the long run. If it lasts more than a few more years, I would say, like season 12 or 13 or something, I can definitely see people starting to think of it like that. Granted, there's the movies too, right? So Greg Nicotero on the Whispers and Michael Myers. So there was an interview with him. Again, link will be in the description so you can check it out. And he kind of gives his thoughts on the Whispers in comparison to Michael Myers. He says, terrifying blank affect he likens to Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise. Quote, the face doesn't move, so you cannot judge any kind of emotion, he continued. So every time we shoot with a group of them, I look at them, that's effing weird, man, because, and that's true too, right? Because as they're doing scenes with them, and it might be a little bit tricky for the Whisperers to do scenes, because basically all they have to work with in terms of their face and facial expressions is really the little slit for their mouth and their eyes. That's all you can really derive emotion from, right? So you can see. But depending on how big the eye slits are, maybe you can still get some kind of intent with that, right? Like, depending. If you can see maybe part of the eyebrow, you can see if they're angry or whatever. But yeah, that's true, and they certainly do have a horror, movie type of feel to them. Definitely Beta does, that's for sure. The Whisperers on the show look a little bit different than they do in the comic, as drawn by Charlie Adlard. The Whisperers have a sagging, melted look that Nicotero didn't think would work on screen. He also didn't want them to look like Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, who's wearing a primitive mask made of flayed skin. So instead, he gave the masks a bone structure. The masks have deep eye sockets so that the brow sticks out enough to create shadows over the eyes, so that when you look at the faces, you get nothing there. He says the masks are then over-textured to look shriveled and decayed. They're not quite like anything that's ever been on the show before. They're also oppressively hot and difficult to breathe under, so they're not for the claustrophobic, but one has complained, per the executive producer. In fact, Nicotero says that Samantha Morton, who plays Whisperer Lead Alpha, officially revealed for the first time putting on her repulsive blonde hair mask is an effing rock star who loves her creepy new face. She and the other actors appreciate acting outside of their comfort zones. And then it says, it's challenging, Nicotero says. It's pushing them to this whole new place of like, you got to act, but it's 110 degrees, 10 degrees in your head, and you're sweating, but they all love it. Ryan Hurst, who plays Alpha's second-in-command Beta, particularly loves his gold teeth. According to Nicotero, the teeth weren't in the script, but Hurst thought that his big bruiser of a character would be even more imposing if he had cool teeth. So Nicotero acquiesced. Imagine, I probably mispronounced that. Imagine a 7-foot-tall, bearded, gold teeth maniac coming at you. It's like what? No, I don't really know. I see gold teeth. I don't know how that. I don't know. Does that make him more scary? It makes him rich, right? He can afford gold teeth. I don't know. It's cool. I think like dirty or black teeth, that could make a lot of sense because it's like so many years in the zombie apocalypse. It's not like they get to go see a dentist. The Whisperers don't have a dentist, right? So it's like you'd think a lot of them would be losing their teeth at this point. They should have a dentist character, right? They got all these doctors and stuff. It's like, well, but then again, they might not be eating too much candy nowadays. At the start of the zombie apocalypse, though, they must have been like, just cashing in on convenience stores and stuff and just eating lots of candy. They probably all the cavities would have come in the first couple of years, right? And then after that, as they start eating healthier because they got to make their own food, then it all probably is fine after that. So then we got this covered. Had one with Stephen Yoon where he said he was actually excited about Glenn's death in The Walking Dead, and also it's rumored that he might be playing Invincible, which is another one of Robert Kirkman's comic book series, his other longest-running comic book series. Maybe he could be doing a voice for Invincible, as well as Kari Payton, who plays Ezekiel, which would be cool too. So yeah, that'd be good, man. When I read that, I was like, oh, I hope so, man. That would be really, really cool if Stephen Yeun could do a voice for Invincible. It'd just be sweet because, you get kind of that crossover appeal from Walking Dead fans who would love to hear him. And then, of course, there's a lot of fans of Walking Dead that would also check out Invincible because it's by the creator of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman. So, and that would be, I think, for the cartoon version I saw online. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. And I am excited for the different series that are coming out for Invincible, but I just don't know what to expect. As far as cartoons go, in North America, usually they're not that well received. So I wouldn't expect to see very many seasons of a cartoon Invincible series. But then again, there's a lot of content out there now, and it is going to be on a streaming service, I believe. I think it's Amazon. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. So maybe they got a lot of money. So maybe they could do it, even if it's not, drawing that much ratings to start with. They're like, whatever. We got to compete with Netflix or something, right? A few questions for today's Q&A. Darth Strauss says, hey, Trev, do you think with the upcoming head spike border that the show can handle that amount of character deaths? The show's cast is really lean at this point. Yeah, you're right. It's true. In the comic books, it's over a dozen. So in the TV series, can they handle that many character deaths? No. Not unless they're mostly like C and D characters with maybe one or two, main character deaths, and that's basically it. I'll give you guys my death predictions this week. I'm working on that now, and going to give you guys my thoughts on who I think will be in the lineup scene, so that should be fun to do, and you guys can do your predictions as well too, as per usual. Giuseppe DeRosa says, Q&A Trev, who do you think will be the last people standing when the show ends? So thanks, you're the best. The final people standing when the show eventually does end, and probably a few years, or maybe more, maybe 5 or 10 years. To be honest with you, based on the turnover we've had so far in The Walking Dead, there might not be anybody left from like the early seasons. Almost nobody. But I would think that if there's any A-list, I think Daryl's got to be up there, and maybe Carol. And then after that, Michonne, I'm not so sure because Rick's not in the series anymore. So for Denai Guerrero, she's got a lot of other projects and stuff. She's got opportunities with Marvel and all these other things that she's had in the last few years. So I would not be surprised if eventually Michonne left, or if eventually Denai Guerrero decide to move on too. So we'll see. But I'd hope she'd stay until the end. But I'm just really not sure. But I go with those two as being the longest running survivors for sure, Carol and Daryl. And then after that, like we mentioned, Eugene, Rosita. They could be alive for a while. Again, more stuff we'll discuss in the death predictions. But I do think they'll both survive this season, and I could be wrong, but I think they will. So we'll see what happens with that, and if they do. Then we've got Andrew Ortiz, who says Henry probably gets with Lydia, so probably, most likely based on the comics and everything. We'll see if that happens, but he's in the cell because of his drinking affair, and then she's going to be put in a cell probably near him, and he's probably going to be like, oh my god, a girl, right? And then there was the thing with Enid before, with Alden, so that makes a lot of sense if you do that, because he's probably in a kind of a sad state right now. And it's like someone else he doesn't know. It's like, it's exciting for him probably. Miss Bird says, do you think media platforms like Netflix, and then she says here, I've watched The Punisher already, will destroy review or reaction channels? So, no, I don't think so. Reaction channels is just for fun anyway. There's basically no effort. Well, I should say no effort. There's basically almost no effort in doing reactions. Anybody can do a reaction, right? It's just you're just a fan of the show, and you're just excited about it. You're just giving your thoughts on it, whatever, after your first viewing. So yeah, so that's cool. But for reviews and stuff like that, no, people will always want to hear what other people thought about stuff. The thing with Netflix and online streaming, where they drop a whole season on you at once, and why I think they might want to kind of rethink that model a little bit, or they might want to do some premium series where they space out the episode releases. Like maybe Stranger Things, they want to space it out or something like that. Because even though I know it's fun to get everything right away, One of the things that makes TV so much fun versus like video games and that kind of stuff is anticipation. Having the anticipation and the hype build up as you're waiting to see an episode, as long as it's not too long, right? Like the season 7 premiere, right? The amount of hype can be very exciting when it's just an episode, but the fact that you have to wait for it and then boom, you get it, and you get the reaction like that. You kind of have to build that anticipation to really get that maximum response out of your viewers. If you release the whole season at once, people can just stream the whole thing through, binge watch the whole thing through, which basically we all do now, right? and then you've seen the whole thing, and it's like the whole season's over. And maybe there's some anticipation for the next release, but you can't get that same kind of anticipation you can get for really great shows like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, a lot of these other series. Under the Dome, I did a lot of reviews for. And when that show first started, there was a lot of anticipation. People wanted to see what was going to happen next, and they looked forward to it, and they talked about it. And that's part of that can help a show really grow, right, when people are talking about it. But then again, binge watching, it's what it is. It's probably not going to change. But no, I mean, we can still do reviews for seasons. It's just harder to do if, like, The Punisher hits and there's, like, 10 episodes to watch to review. What I've been doing is, like, sometimes I'll just do a review for the first episode, knowing that a lot of people have already seen the 10th episode. But see, that's why it makes it tricky, right? Because it's like you're going to review it, but then there's a lot of people that have already seen the whole season all the way through. So you kind of get to watch it on your own pace. But there's pros and cons to everything. And personally, for me, that's the big thing is that the anticipation is not there if you give everyone all the episodes at the premiere date right away. So yeah, and everyone's at different times. People aren't in sync. In terms of community, people aren't in sync across the board. Some people have seen all 10 episodes right away. Other people just saw the premiere. Some people haven't seen it at all. Other people haven't seen it halfway through. Whereas if you do it week to week, the people can watch and then kind of talk about that, look forward to the next, and do that. So that's kind of part of what I think makes The Walking Dead so exciting is having that spread out format where you can anticipate. And they can do things with it too. If you look at the fake out Glenn death, right? You had that, and then you got that response that people thought he was gone, and then it came back. But if you'd have dropped a whole season like that, then it would have been like, oh, he's gone. And then, okay, I watched 2 episodes later, okay, he's back. And again, with the community aspect, people who see it, they might have already heard that this was going to happen, so because their friends and stuff have already seen past that, and then their friends just tell them and stuff. So it changes the game a lot, right? So in some ways it's awesome to get them all right away. Like Stranger Things, I always love that because you get it. It's like, okay, you get a whole season of an amazing series right at once. But then you get pissed off that your friend has seen it all the way to the end, and you've been working and you don't have enough time to watch out for another couple days. So it's tricky, man, for sure. But you could argue the same thing with spoilers, right? Because that happens too with a lot of shows. Ryan Kills says, it looks like the t-shirt Beta is wearing says love, maybe, and peace. But yeah, that shirt is hilariously ironic for the character. Yeah, it is. It's hilarious for him to have like a smiley face type of shirt or something that could say something like that when he's going around beating the crap out of everybody, right? Janet C. says, do you think the Whisperers are living or have lived in the sanctuary? Does Negan discovers them, evidence of them there? Does he discover them in the comics? So thanks. So no, I wouldn't think so. The sanctuary is basically a dead zone. Nothing grows there. It's a place you can fortify, but it's not a place where you can probably long-term live. It's more like an outpost, maybe, because there's you can't do any farming, you can't do anything like that. So the sanctuary has its pros, but it certainly is a difficult place to live at when you can't grow food. Rosemary M says, I keep getting the Walking Dead trailers as ads during your videos. Awesome. So that's awesome to hear. I didn't know that AMC was doing some ads for Walking Dead. That's cool if you guys see Walking Dead ads in the channel. I'm not sponsored by AMC or anything, but that's cool if they want to advertise and if they show up in the videos. That's sweet. They probably don't want the Walking Dead to they probably want the Walking Dead to continue to be popular and everything. So maybe if they do a little advertising for the return dates, hey, that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. They can do what they can do. Chris Mulcahy says, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm surprised they haven't officially announced Season 10 yet. Need to share it on Facebook. So it is strange that they haven't officially announced Season 10 of The Walking Dead yet, but we all know that they're going to do it. It's just weird that they haven't done it yet. I don't know why this year. I guess maybe they figured everybody already knows it's a given. So maybe that's why. I doubt that they're debating it. You know what I mean? They've got like dead quarters and stuff, and their sign, I think, for their building and stuff. I've seen pictures anyway. I've never been there, but you guys get what I'm saying. And the last one will be from Blackarot, who says, looks like we may get the border scene earlier than expected. And we might not have to wait until the finale, because with the way that they've been doing things this year with Angela Kang as showrunner, it doesn't seem like they're saving all the big moments to the finale. It looks like they're doing them when maybe they logically should occur. So that's kind of cool. So maybe we should not expect to see that as the last episode. Maybe it'll occur in like the 4th or 5th or 6th episode or something like that, which would be exciting as well too. Anyway, that'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, and I hope you did, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. If you're new, subscribe at the bottom left. And that's it for today's Walking Dead video, guys. 2 weeks left. Very exciting. Can't wait to see the return for The Walking Dead. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.